All right, today is February 15th, 2021. I'm going to do a recap on my trades today. I actually finished trading around about 9:50, 9:45. Basically, when actually no, I was still trading. Um, but I finished trading the the options. I still traded options, even though I sell stop, but I still trade options. I actually saw two different setups on two tickers today. On this and on this. This one's still going down, but I got out too quickly. And not so much too quickly, but I bought contracts with Friday expiration. I actually considered getting next week expiration so I could see this through. Um, so what I'm going to do is going to talk through my setup, why I chose the stocks that I chose, and how I entered, some of my mistakes, and maybe could even talk about things I can do to improve on them. All right, so one of the things that I did here was I have a cash account that I'm limited to a certain amount of money that I can spend. I realized that if I do that, I don't overtrade the entire day. Um, One of the things I'm also working on is learning how to use the 20 MA to assess my trades, um, especially when you say you take off pre-market off. It gives you a better idea of what's going on, but we'll talk about that another time. So what happened this morning? Well, as you can see, prior to the open, we entered into a range on AFRM. So if we look at my time frame, I don't know if I did a recap on. No, I did not. So I traded this ticker on this day. I actually took it short here, and it was a very bad. I mean, the setup wasn't so much bad. I mean, we're now going down. It's just I shorted it on the wrong day, and I shorted it because we pushed up 3 times. First reversal was minor, and then we came out. We overshot on this channel, so chances that we're going to try and make a new high, which I was aware of. But I did not. My execution wasn't great. As a result, I ended up losing a lot of money. But we're not talking about that today. We're gonna talk about today. Actually, just before, there were some things that I learned here that I still made mistakes today on. In fact, okay, we'll talk about it now. So if we go back to that day where I took the trade, it wasn't this day. It wasn't this day. It was this day. So the plan, I first of all drew the supply area, and this is the problem with supply and demand. Sometimes it doesn't work. You have to be careful. I drew the supply area, shorted when this bear bar, but did not close on its low. I took a short here, and I learned now that it's better if this is a bear bar that actually closes on its low, something like this maybe, or if you have two bear bars. We had this big spike, formed this triangle, and then this became a final flag. This now became the top of the trend, a double top, and went down. One thing I did notice, and I noticed this every time I have traded these strong trends, is I never ever, just take this out, I always forget to check if there are gaps. And as you can see, we had a gap between this high and this low. So that already should have told me that this is not worth shorting, even over here. Definitely not worth shorting because of this gap. Here's the first time the gap is closed, but we don't have good follow through. We're still seeing really good, strong green bars, particularly this bar. So not a really good short here, although this could have been a good short, but not really good short. But I started adding. My average price should have been around here, so you'd have thought that by the time when price got here, I would have been able to get out because the trade wasn't working out. When in actual fact, what ended up happening was because of the volatility, I think, I'm not very good at options. We lost a lot of the premiums, and as a result, I was actually down about almost $2,000 around here. By the time we returned here, it was 2,500, and this is when we got here, almost $3,000. I just cut the trade at this point. I thought, yeah, there's no point doing this. And then obviously we came back, but I think by the time we would have come back here, I would have, and even here, I think I would have lost a lot of, which is back to my entry. I think I would have still lost a lot of money due to IB crush. Anyway, so there were really good setups on here. As you can see, we had a nice wedge top there, could go short there, nice wedge bottom, could go long here, this was a double bottom, another double bottom here. Some really nice wedges. And you're convinced about these wedges because the moving average is in the middle of price. And a nice wedge bottom here, and of course we reversed that. Alright, I saw the price action yesterday, and what kind of made me think, okay, I'm going to look to short this stock was when I was looking on the daily chart. I noticed that because we've gotten to a point where we've kind of started to slow down and we have two-sided trading. More so because when I saw the price action here, we went up, we came down, and then we went up here again. In fact, I think it was pre-market that actually gave me the conviction that we weren't going any higher. Alright, so here we go. So we rallied up and came down, bounced off this level, and then, so the next level to be tested was this. So I assumed we would have a double top today, excuse me, and if anything, we are most likely going to go sideways. So what I did was I drew this zone, and I thought, okay, let's look for some relevant zones. This was a 15-minute supply, and also had a 5-minute supply here. And then I also drew, this is actually a 5-minute demand area, because when I was looking at the chart, I was like, I do not want to go long over here. I'm sure there's more value, and I learned that using a 15 minutes is good. Yeah. 2 seconds. So I drew a 5-minute demand and also thought I'd draw a 5-minute supply because I'm trading the 5-minute chart, and that's what happened. Price, I saw this setup and I thought, this is probably gonna go long. I hope it doesn't touch this, because if it does, we're gonna have this rally up. It usually happens because of volume. And then I'll have to short it here, and I wasn't sure. So I had loaded up my my puts, but then when I saw the way we were trading and also watching the SPY, I noticed that this was what was going to happen. So I changed to calls, and just loaded the charts and just kind of, I bought 6 contracts. First bought 3, then bought 3 more. We didn't really reverse, and then got here, and I thought, okay, fine. Bought 6 more here, and I said, whatever happens, if it doesn't work, I'm just going to get out. And then just ripped. Took out 6 when we got here, 3 here, no, 3 here, and then another 3. Got out 6 here because I just thought, okay, we may just reverse and we may just fail. I'm not prepared for that. Let's just get out there. And got a $1,500 profit out of that. So what were the things I could have learned? I think I should have just left the last 3 and taken the risk to let it get to the supply area. Even if I'd taken the 9 off, I could have just done that and just put my stop at break even. And as these bars were just forming, waited for this wedge to form, and then at this point looked to exit. And it would have been a really nice profit, because if you think about it, this was I think this was about, for how much I was there, I think I was up for those 3 contracts, possibly about $300 there. I wish I had more buying power. I would have sold more over here, because as you can see, we are selling off. and coming over to test this level. So that was DKNG, that one. DKNG, as you can see, I saw this on the daily chart that we had this big sell zone, and I thought, oh, we're probably going to drop, and we are dropping. We have a wedge. I should really look to short this. First short was yesterday, and then today. And that was really the setup. So I thought, okay, let's see how far we can go. But I didn't manage this trade as well. I mean, I drew the channel and everything. So what happened was, at the open I took a short here, and we had a retracement back, and I added more. I think I had about 40 contracts in the end. And came down here, went back up, and I just saw we had a wedge, and I thought, oh, I don't want to be in a wedge. And of course it retraced, but I got out just here for about 500 and something dollars, and it retraced, and then it's coming back down, and it's been going down all day. It kind of makes sense what's going on, but I just wasn't ready to take it down. Again, because the contracts were not just expiring, they were expiring this week. The final trade I took was on the ES. This was a very badly managed trade. I shorted 5 contracts here, 5 MES contracts, and then when we had this, I shorted some more. I think I shorted about 10 or 20. I can't remember. I think I added a few more over there. I know that by the time I got here, I had about 30 or 40 contracts. Somehow I had 70 contracts when I got up to this, when we were about here, and my risk was just way too high with 70 contracts, so I took off 20, and then just kind of rode this thing. I was just waiting for this to just, again, hoping actually, saw this bar close on its low. I was really happy about that. This one did as well. I was like, okay, perfect, we've broken the trend line, so the trend has definitely changed. My average price was this orange bar, and then this bar printed. First, I thought it was going to reverse and at least test the top, but actually what ended up happening was a bear bar, and then this was just a bar that I was struggling to get through because of this area of demand. I almost was so tempted to put my exit here. I had different exit levels around here, but then I saw this level and I thought, let's just exit completely out of here. I just don't want price to retrace at this level. And then of course it went through and it went a bit lower. I almost bought here because I thought we're in the trading range. We've gone up and we've come down at the same level, so we're probably going to go back up. But at this point I've already decided to stop. What did I do? What did I learn here? I guess with that one, I jumped in way too early. This bar hadn't closed because I assumed that we were at the top, and I hadn't waited for this bar. We're so far from moving average. I didn't think what happened yesterday, which is a small pullback bull trend, would happen again today. And when it was happening, I was just buying and buying and buying, as in shorting. And I just looked on the 5 minute, and we had green bars, and I thought, oh dear. Came here and I thought, okay, fine, this certainly is a wedge, but no, it wasn't. This is just the second leg up. There's the third leg up. I was looking at the Globex chart for conviction, confirmation. Oh, excuse me. And on the Globex chart, we had a different picture, which is why I shorted. Okay. Yeah, so I just thought, oh, we already have a high here, so you know, a double top maybe, or another high, so this should be the third high. You know, it's a gradual rise, and this was a breakout. But actually, it was a breakout, but measuring gap as well, so about the same length here. You know, this bar is about the same length as that bar. Anyway, so I think the good thing was I reduced my risk a bit, and then just waited for this to just rip and just get to a really good level, and trusted the process. All right, that's my trading day. I look forward to next week's trading.